For over 10 years now, Glasgow City Council has led the Sustainable Glasgow Partnership. The University of Glasgow has long been an important part of that partnership and holds with us the same goals of working on sustainability and wellness. Taking that forward, we are now working on building the city portrait for the city. This is a piece of work that allows us to understand how the citizens of Glasgow can live in the city and work together in a way that doesn't go outside the planetary limitations, making sure that our impact on the planet does not further exacerbate the problems of climate change, but in fact leads us towards being a cleaner, better city that can be net zero carbon by 2030.
The portrait shows us how Glasgow might thrive sustainably. It downscales the ideas of Doughnut Economics to our local context and sets out our ambition to exist in the safe and just space for humanity, as well as some ideas for how we might get there.
The work of the City Portrait will really support the City Council's priorities around implementing and localising the UN Sustainable Development Goals, but it's also important to understand how we can best climate-proof the city, ensuring that those already most vulnerable are protected.
A city portrait unrolls the social foundation and ecological ceiling of the Doughnut to give us 4 interconnected perspectives on thriving.
I think for the people of Glasgow to thrive in the city looks very different from the way it is now. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of skill. So there are things we can build on rather than thinking that we're trying to get up from ground zero.
The elements we need are communication between lots of different organisations and departments. So that means
not having the public sector work in isolation from the private sector, making sure that there's real community representation at all levels.
I think for Glasgow to thrive within its natural habitat would mean looking at the city as not just an urban concrete jungle, but it actually is a really green city. It has an enormous amount of natural resources, from the Clyde River to all of the parks, the green spaces around the city.
In other words, we need to recognize and respect the neighboring habitats as well as the local ecosystem that we all are part of.
For the people of Glasgow, for them to respect the well-being of the people globally, it would mean a number of things. It's that global contribution, so knowing I'm not only doing things well for my community, but what I do here within my space impacts others positively, either that be people living at the bottom of Africa, right down to the opposite ends of China.
We people of Glasgow need to find ways to eat and buy more smartly by choosing things that don't rely on awful working conditions, such as child labour, modern slavery and mining dangerous substances.
What would it mean for Glasgow to respect the health of the whole planet? I think it would mean being honest about the ways that the city is interconnected with all sorts of other parts of the world in often quite invisible ways. One thing we could think about is how we can support the local economy in Glasgow without these emissions that tend to come with it.
Glasgow can respect the health of the whole planet by taking care of its natural landscapes. One of the biggest things that we could do is tackle transport. Can we make public transport very efficient so people want to use it? That would reduce carbon dioxide emissions significantly.
We're excited to tackle the social and ecological crises simultaneously. We know that the climate crisis makes social inequality and economic inequality so much worse, and vice versa. So we're looking for solutions that are interconnected and mutually reinforcing so that we can make both of these things better.